News Day continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Hundreds of lucky bettors won the 655 Grand Lotto prize on Saturday, with each taking home around $500,000 pesos. Let's get on the math behind all this with UP professor and statistician Dr. Peter Cayton, who joins us now via Zoom. Professor Cayton, good afternoon. We have 433 winners. I'm sure many people have asked you this. What are the odds of this many winners in a game of chance?
Good afternoon, Sean, and thank you for having me today. And about the occurrence of having 433 winners in the 655 Lotto, no? Well, if you just give me an incomplete context into just telling me that for the 655, 433 winners for the jackpot, I'll just think about that and say, well, that is so highly unlikely. The probability is pretty close to zero. Not impossible because you already saw a thing happen in that way, but it's very unlikely. However, if you give me that the context is that the winning numbers were 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, and 54, it's a very human thing to do to select those numbers being multiples of 9. Or if you really look at the lotto ticket, when you try to answer what would be your selected numbers, those numbers often are arranged diagonally. So it's a very human thing for us to really choose an easy set of numbers, an easy pattern when we are faced with chaos and uncertainty. It's a very human thing for us to do. So yes, the tickets, there are 28,989,675. Possible 6 combinations out of 55, and only one of them has a multiple of 9 in all of their digits. But we as humans select numbers by a pattern or by an order, which is easy for us to do, easy for us to remember, especially when we want to participate in the lotto on a regular basis. So if you just look at the numbers without or an incomplete context, 433 is really that large. In the history, in the past 20 years, we only had 2 or 3 or 1 winner of the lotto. But 433 is pretty rare, yes. But if you look at how we humans tend to choose numbers, and the occurrence that really choosing numbers as humans, and what will come out of the draws of balls in the 655, they are really 2 distinct events. So it's not really that unlikely if you think about how we humans tend to choose numbers.
I guess, Dr. Cayton, I should change my question to what is the probability of picking out the winning numbers as all multiples of 9 and in that order, 9, 18, 27, right? And so on and so forth. Have you done the math on the probability of picking out all these multiples of 9 in that specific order as the winning numbers?
Now, if I'm just going to look at the lottery balls on how the PCSO would be drawing them, it's just one combination that has all of those numbers being a multiple of 9. That specific set of 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, and 54. So it's 1 out of 28,989,675. But if we ask the question, how many people chose 9, 18, 27, 26, 45, 54, it's going to be a pretty significant number. It's not a majority, naturally, but it's going to be a good number of people out of all of those possible choices that people would have. In this case, you observe that there are 433 people that chose that number, and it's not unlikely that that is something that we can cling on. There have been studies in other countries in terms of number preferences in the lottery. We haven't seen such research in the Philippines, but already this is showing up to us now. We humans, really do choose things that are easy to remember, patterns that we can repeat in participating in the lottery. So yes, I have an answer for the one where the balls are coming up to the lottery, and that's 1 out of all possible combinations that could exist. But we still don't have the information or really empirical data in terms of Uh, those selecting 430 out of how many participated? Yeah.
All right. So let's just have a little fun here. If you were compare this unlikely circumstance to other unlikely circumstances, where would this rank? Because we spoke to your, or at least some colleagues of mine, spoke to your colleagues, Professor Guido David, and he says the likelihood of getting hit by lightning is bigger than having 433 Lotto winners. We are assuming, of course, he did also take into consideration the context that you supplied. Yeah.
Now, let me give you another thing that is more real to us. So, in the past 4 weeks, the average number of COVID-19 cases has been about 12,700 per week, and in a population of 109.6 million. Now, you are 3,000 times more likely to get COVID than win the jackpot in the lottery.
Oh, that's really fun and a very good math. I think a lot of us have to take a little bit more time to digest at least the computations that went behind that. Thank you so much for your time and your insights and your explanations. UP Professor Peter Cayton. Actually, just one last question. Do you think, really quickly, sir, that this occurrence actually merits an investigation?
Now, I'm just going to have no comment on that about meriting an investigation, though I would say it merits a lot of good research.
All right. Thank you again. UP Professor Dr. Peter Cayton. Thank you, sir. In other news, House Majority Leader Manix Dalipe has come to the defense of President Bongbong Marcos amid criticisms over his Singapore trip. Dalipe said Marcos Jr. was apparently invited to the Formula One Grand Prix after his recent state visit to the country. The Zamboanga Solon claimed that the president was asked to attend the event as he appears to be one of the leaders in Southeast Asia. Critics have slammed this trip, calling it insensitive, with several regions still reeling from the onslaught of Super Typhoon Cardema.
Hindi lang si mahal na Pangulo Bongbong Marcos ang naimbita sa Singapore for that event, but also other leaders from other parts of Southeast Asia. And I think it so happened that it is an event for them to get together and socialize.
And Kabataan Party List has condemned the National Youth Commission Chair Ronald Cardema for gatecrashing a forum where their representative was speaking at. In a statement, Kabataan said that Cardema should instead address issues on his alleged mismanagement of the Youth Commission's funds. The group also called for Cardema's resignation as he continues to red tag progressive groups. Cardema came in uninvited to the Pandesal Forum in Quezon City, where Kabataan Party List Representative Raul Manuel was a guest. Cardema questioned Kabataan's alleged inaction against the recruitment of students by communist groups. We're gonna pause for a quick break, but we will be back with more stories after that. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Central banks around the world are struggling to keep up with the rapidly appreciating US dollar in what experts are describing as a reverse currency war. The details in this video by Bloomberg.
Currency wars typically involve countries jockeying for weaker exchange rates to make their exports cheaper and more competitive to other countries. In reverse, countries want stronger currencies to fight inflation, make imports less expensive, and boost their spending power overseas. That is the backdrop that we saw in the 1980s, which led to the historic Plaza Accord, an agreement among major nations to weaken the US dollar by jointly intervening in their currencies. The backdrop of the 1980s appears to be making a comeback now. Inflation is at a decade high for most countries, and the dollar's record strength is diminishing the value of money everywhere else. In the UK, the pound has lost about 20% of its value, and it fell to a record low after the government unveiled a fiscal plan that investors fear will put the country in a worse financial position. What's next? Watch for signs of countries intervening in their currencies. Japan has confirmed that it's already doing this, while China is stepping up efforts to boost its currency. In the UK, the Bank of England is under pressure to support the pound, but its firepower for doing this is a fraction compared to its major peers.
And here is a quick look at today's other top stories. Fare hikes for various modes of public transportation takes effect today. This applies to traditional and modern jeepneys, buses, taxis, and TNVS units. President Bongbong Marcos led the groundbreaking ceremony for the Ortigas and Shaw Boulevard stations of the Metro Manila subway system earlier today. Motorists are being advised to take alternate routes as a portion of Meralco Avenue will be closed off starting tonight. And the Philippine peso dropped to another all-time low, closing at 59 against the greenback. Economists see the local currency breaching the 60 level amid successive rate hikes from the U.S. Federal Reserve. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News Live anytime, anywhere. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.